Um, Also, could you add my screen? So this, not this.
Oh, I see. So a user.
Well, we've
Oh, okay. So here's the rake route or the routes. I'm sorry. Resources, polls, users. Okay.
we didn't know how to like.
Get users. Well, I mean that's like a different. You if you have resources, polls, users, you wouldn't have get users as well.
So what? How would we?
Yeah, hold on just a second. Got to review this myself. Yeah, they're so tangled together that it makes it difficult to understand. Where is this? Oh, okay, here it is. So
Well, let me start sharing again. Sorry.
yeah, I mean, users are involved in users are involved in sign up, but it's not really part of the routes for sign up.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you look at the tutorial, you'll see that none of the routes mention a user, even though there is a user model, right? And we have various controllers, like maybe you have a polls controller as well as these other ones. But you might notice that in the tutorial, even though you've got an authorization model and a user model, you don't have routes that basically reflect those. There is a resources users in the routes, just like you have, right? But you don't have. I mean, resources users gives you all the routes you need for users.
Okay, but we had another question. Like,
yeah,
we were wondering like if polls was the right way to go about it. Like, should we have started with users?
Well, I mean, I think you need both. There's a handful of things you need at the beginning. Sometimes the beginning is the hardest part to get because you're juggling several things at once.
Yeah, it's like we're not getting anywhere with anything. It's just like there's so much design constraints and things to think about.
So I mean, I thought that you were going to basically work on sign up first and then worry about your polls and everything else.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could you could go in either direction, but you could take your the tutorial you worked on and build your project around that. Because you now have users, you probably need a migration to expand what's in users. All right.
How would we go about doing that? Like, we were
you have like a Rails generate
that one.
add column. You could add a column or add a reference, something like that. But you would just create a migration that has the extra fields in it you need. I mean, the other thing you could do, because there's not a heck of a lot of migrations here, right? You could roll them both back and delete the user migration, put in the extra attributes and references, but you'd have to have both of them deleted. Okay. And then you'd have to, obviously creating the authorizations one is easy because you've done it already. But you might want to just ditch your users at this point and decide to go with a more inclusive one. Does that make sense?
Just partly. I don't know if I'm just not smart enough today. I'm not able to.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm struggling today myself. I realize I can hardly think my way through a paperback. It's terrible.
It's just we're just stuck at this exact point. We're like, oh, okay, maybe we could do this, we could do that, and
right. So, when you originally did your Rails generate for the users, let me find that command actually. All right, because maybe that's what you want to do. Haven't found it yet, but I'm getting there. So that's the. And you probably will want to generate a controller for the users as well.
In here?
Well, in your project, and a controller for your polls.
We have a controller for the polls already.
Oh, okay. All right. So originally you did Rails generate model username. User name string, email string, right? So that's what you're using for sign on. What else do you need for the user model? You probably maybe last name, first name.
First name, last name.
Yeah.
Email, password, confirm password. You are talking about the sign up page, right?
No, I'm talking about your model, your user model. What attributes do you want it to have?
Okay.
Just user ID and password.
So you use you want to store the password too?
We haven't thought about that, but then yeah, we can.
Because I'm not sure you need to if you're letting OmniAuth take care of this.
Okay.
That would be under GitHub. So I don't think you need to do that.
Where would be? Including OmniAuth, would be at the sign in or the sign up page part of it.
It's just it's exactly what you have in the tutorial. It's just a question of where you want to have sign up appear.
Okay.
So let me see. So you did at some point. Okay, you did at some point get rid of the old authorization and give and provide a new migration for it. So you have Rails generate model authorization provider string, UID string, user belongs to, right? And so your polls, your polls would also, if you do a Rails generate model polls and you give the attributes, you're going to have user belongs to that as well. or what is it? User, is that a belongs to, or am I thinking it backwards? The poll belongs to the user. Yeah, user belongs to. So you should have the belongs to on both authorization and polls, which I think will take care of the relationship. It will update your schema. Right now, your schema has add index to authorizations, user ID, name, and then index authorizations on user ID. Well, that would cause you to have add index polls and include user ID, and then name, index, index polls on user ID. Do you see what I'm saying? So they'd be connected.
Okay, I mean, those things will be done in the OmniAuth, right, Professor?
No, what I'm saying is, you keep on thinking about OmniAuth, but the thing you have to worry about is just to make sure that when you create a poll or a user, that they're connected to each other the right way. I mean, you don't have to worry about the sign up because you have the code for it.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm making any sense here. But I think what you have to do at this point to basically merge what you did in the tutorial with what you want to do in your project, is it might just be easier to ditch your current database, roll it back. You'd have to roll it back a couple times until all the tables are down. And you could delete both of your migrations, and then you could create, let's see, I think, let's see. Yeah, what's in create users? Let me just see. Yeah, you only need for users, you only need what attributes you want. It's authorizations and polls that will have the belongs to thing. So what is it that you need for like a member or a user? What fields? You have a name, you have an email, you might want to have like name might be a username, and you might want to have like their real name, like first name, last name, like that.
Yeah.
And what else?
Email.
First name, last name, then the email ID. That's it. Then the password.
Well, you
Or
don't
we don't need
want to keep the password. Yeah. Yeah. I think the poll stuff will just fall out. Let me see. So like you right now, you have authorization and it belongs to user, right? And you're going to have polls, and you should have the same relationship, belongs to user. And if you look at your user.rb, your user.rb has many authorizations. It should have the same relationship with polls, has many polls. And you don't need to change your user model to include that, because it's polls that's going to have a reference to the user. Does that make sense? I mean, when you create a poll, it's going to be similar to when you create an authorization with the way they're hooked up. And let's see.
Belongs to.
And then, yeah, and I don't know if you're going to need a, you might not even, depending on how you work this, you might not even really need, I think you've got like, what do you have? Like a welcomes controller, you've got a sessions controller. perhaps in the create you could pull in the first name and the last name as well.
We
You actually have access to that information if you want it.
I'm not sure what we're supposed to do now, Professor.
All right, let me see your code.
Yeah.
So
It's like
you have user, class user, has many authorizations, validates name, email, presence to. Okay. And then you have to, okay, so what's the main page you go to? Is it similar to what we had in the tutorial, or is it different? Where are you going first?
We would first go to, where's that?
Okay, so this is what it class. Oh, yeah, the view. All right, so what view is this?
This is the index .html.haml in polls.
Okay, so this is pull up. So index.html.haml, and then you have sign in.
We haven't. We thought of working on this functionality for this iteration. It's like yeah, the sign up page.
Yeah, but see, right off the bat, you're having them save a password here, and I don't think you want to have them do that. I think you want to, you just let Omnioth take care of that, because basically, you let GitHub take care of it, right? If you're signed into GitHub at the time, it'll recognize them because they're signed in. If they're not signed in, GitHub will ask for this information.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, just like the authorize and Omnioth.
Right.
So would I have to take this one out, this line, or?
Yeah. About the only thing that I would be that might be easier to get through a form is their first name and last name.
Professor, this is the home page. We've not created the view for the sign up page yet.
Oh, you well, there isn't
that.
Really.
Yeah.
There isn't a view. Right?
We haven't created one for users.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, in the tutorial, was there one for users? No, it was handled by Omnioth. See, you're trying to do more work than I'm asking you to do. Let's see. So
wouldn't we have like a separate sign up page in general, like?
No, because we're having Omnioth take care of it.
Okay.
So when you clicked sign up, what happened with the tutorial?
It
went to GitHub, right?
Yeah, it triggered a callback. Yes.
It went to a GitHub page, and then it went back to the callback, which created your basically created your account, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just wouldn't get too fancy with this. Okay. You have, let's see, not registered yet. Sign up. Yeah, see, all you need is a link for sign in. You don't need any of this. For register, you might want to send over, have them type in their name and have them click on sign up. And then what you're going to do is, besides what you send on to the callback, perhaps you can add a parameter with that information. Either that, or when they wind up getting validated by when they get validated by GitHub, send them to like a profile page where they can fill
Yeah.
out what things they want to have saved to their account.
That's sort of what we were thinking about, the second one, like,
Okay.
but we didn't know how to like direct it to it.
Okay, so then basically what we're saying is, before, notice how with the callback we went to create, right?
Mhm.
We created the user, we created the session, so that meant that, now the user's logged in, they can do something, right?
Mm.
And then we went straight to the dashboard. Well, there's nothing that says you can't go to another page, like a profile page, and have them, fill out some information. So the validation is basically, yes, you are who you said you are, and we're going to allow you to use our application. But then you can add some other requirements, like you give us your first name and your last name, and we make sure that the email is the Binghamton ID. Is that the idea you had?
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't you set up your routes as it was for the tutorial to start? Okay. And then once you have that done, we'll change it so that instead of going to the dashboard from the create will have its own page, will have its own view. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because then, you can create a page with a form.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, you could go on to something like an index page or a dashboard or what have you. All right. So the tutorial is just an example. You can expand on that example. My point is that you have to have at least what's in there for it to work.
Okay.
But if you want to do these other things, you would, sign in. I don't think you need any of this. Sign in once they're signed up and they're validated, then there should be no problem. Okay.
What if they're like returning users, like what if they
but if they're a returning user, then you just have that sign up, just like in the tutorial. They click on it and or sign in, and then they will automatically, like the way the tutorial works is actually the code in the tutorial figures out whether they need to sign in or sign up. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like the code in create figures out, have they signed in already, or have they signed up already? In which case they can go directly to like an index page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If they haven't signed up already, then they would have to go to perhaps a profile page. And you might at that point, like for instance, if you have them fill out or if you examine their email, see, we didn't really do that in the tutorial, but you can examine their email and then say, no, this is invalid. Send them a flash message. You don't have a Binghamton email, so you're not given permission for the site. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
So see, what I see here is like you've got bits and pieces, but like put all the stuff that you had in the tutorial in here.
Okay.
And just have I think in the tutorial it's just a sign in or sign up, I think. What does it say? It says, register or log in with GitHub. Yeah, register or log in with GitHub. Just have the same link. Register or log in with GitHub. And then from there, when you return to the callback, you can decide what you want to do.
So there we would, send the user to a new form.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, like, how would we put
So,
that.
so do you have what does your create look like here? Do you have your session stuff here yet, or no?
No.
What do you, in apps? What do you have? I can't see your tree. I can't see your tree. All right.
Do you want me to zoom in a little bit?
Oh, no, it's good now. I can see it. It wasn't pulled down.
Okay.
So you have an application controller, you have a polls. Oh, you don't have the session controller stuff in here. See, it's the session controller stuff that takes care of registration and sign in. All right. That's all the session.
Here, the one from the tutorial. Okay.
Yeah. And then the application controller has to have the code that's in there as well.
Okay.
Then what do you have for your models here so far? Let me see your models.
Hold out RB.
Okay, so you got a user. Can I see your user? Okay, has many. Okay, so you're gonna have a user should has many polls as well. But I think perhaps you should generate that instead of like filling it all in.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Oh, actually, the only I keep on coming back to that. The only thing you have to change in your current schema as far as users goes is what you want to add in the profile. Probably first name, last name.
Okay.
You could even change name to be username. You know what it is that you're getting out of GitHub, that it's the username, not necessarily the name. And then you make sure you get their first and last name, right?
Yeah.
So
far we've not had much stuff to do with the database. Like we were just creating the homepage and how to, like,
Yeah, but the thing is, you have the way this works, you have to work full stack.
Yeah.
And I think part of why you're confusing yourself is you're not working full stack.
Yeah.
So
for the database,
let's experiment with the database momentarily, okay?
Okay.
And let's see. Take your poll and user there.
Yeah.
And name them something like poll original, user original. Just name them something else.
Where exactly?
Right where you are. Just give them a different name.
These?
The file name. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just give them a different name.
Okay.
Yeah. And then user.
Okay, there's an authorization.
Okay. And can I see the polls? I want to see what your attributes are there.
Oh, sorry. Let me just finish.
No, yeah, take your time. Take your time.
Do you want me to go into this?
Yeah, I want to just take a look at what you've got in polls. Dependent destroy. Okay, validates. Okay, good. Can I see? Let's see. What does your schema say about polls? You've got in your database. Yeah. What's in there? So you've got polls. So it's got a topic. And nothing else. Okay. So you've got vote options. So you've got those separated, vote options and polls. So each poll has a topic. Wouldn't each poll have a title and a poll ID as well?
Yeah. So like,
Yeah, I'm concerned that maybe you're not quite creating these correctly. And what about your? Can I look at user again, or the other schema? Any other schema you have there? So
uh,
this is this is everything. This
yeah.
is all you have in your schema.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, and of course, nothing's going to work until you have stuff in here, which you don't have. All right, so you have a migrate that says create what? What are the two migrations? Create what and create what? Under migrate.
Under migrate,
Yeah, what are those two migrations?
create polls and create vote options.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, why is it that vote options is a different resource? As opposed to attributes of polls? So you have a poll, and what information is associated with the poll? There's a topic, right? Or the topic thread, something like that, right? And then the title, poll ID. What other fields might be associated with the poll that you're interested in?
Created by.
Created by.
Created by. So, in other words, a reference to the user.
Yes.
That would be a belongs to. Yeah. I mean, you can label it in your view created by, but in the schema, it would be a belongs to. What else? You would have to have the poll data, right?
Yes.
How are you planning on organizing the poll data? Because you really have to have that nailed down before you go any further. So, like, you're going to have a way of perhaps creating a form based on the topic so that people can interact with the poll. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what I think you should do? One of the things I think you should do is make a sample poll. Like draw a view out, show a poll, and show what you want to do with it. Okay?
Okay.
Because until you do, I think you're getting a little bit too abstract. In the meantime, however, what we could do is get the user and authorizations migration in here before we even have the polls migration, and at least get you working as far as the sign in and sign up is concerned. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, because that you have, it works, and you still seem to be unsure about what you want to do with the polls. what you want them to actually accomplish, right?
Yeah.
And where you have here, you call it vote options, title and poll ID, but I don't see them as being vote options. I see them as being part and parcel of the poll itself. Am I wrong?
Juhi, do you like?
Yeah, jump in.
Actually, I was initially thinking about this vote options, so I didn't complete that part.
You think what?
Initially, I was planning to make a table with vote options,
Uh-huh.
but then after that, we changed the track, so
Oh, okay.
it is like left hanging in between.
Okay. So, I mean, as far as, you all agree that this is the topic you want to pursue, the polls. But I'm not hearing a lot of, I'm confused, all right? I'm not hearing a lot of explanation on what it is you expect to do.
We were thinking of taking the polls and then displaying it on another form according to like the answers we have received, the percentage of votes we have received.
Oh, okay. So how do you plan on categorizing the votes? I mean, is it going to be something that there's only a yes or no, or are you going to have a variety? Or, I mean, you have to think about all that stuff up front. Are you going to have
yes or no
sorry?
questions. Yes or no questions.
Yes or no questions. Okay. All right. Yeah, because I mean, you could have a form that asks a user, how many categories or whatever and what to label them, and then to put up a form that has those different, however many categories, and they can, choose whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So you have to think in the one hand of the user who's going to create the poll, and then on the participants who participate in the poll,
Okay.
right? And it should be the same group of users, all right, who have registered to your application, the same group, but depending on whether they create a poll or they're just participating in a poll, they could have a different role. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, as I said, draw something out that shows an example poll, how it would be created, how it would take votes, that kind of thing. But in the meantime, why don't we get at least the the registration and whatever done? So can you merge in the code from session? And I'll tell you what I would want to see you do right away is, could you do a RakeDB rollback, and let's get rid of what's in the schema right now, because it's not helping you. Rollback. Yeah. Okay. What is it doing?
Rake aborted.
Ooh, missing controller key on routes definition. Oh, great. Missing controller key.
Is this, should I comment this out? We didn't add it to or something.
You might want to, if that's all you have right now, I would. Yeah, well, get users makes no sense anyway. You have users as a resource. It gives you all the paths. Try it again without that. I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, so it dropped that. Now RakeDB roll back again. Okay. Now do a rake DB migrate status to be absolutely sure, because you never want to do this unless all your tables are down.
Migrate.
Status.
Colon status. Yeah. All right. Okay, so now delete your migrations and your database and your schema. Just delete them all.
Here.
Yeah. Delete the schema. Yeah. And delete the test database and the development database. All right, now we're going to start out by creating the user model, which I'm trying to remember how to do. Let me see. It's Rails generate model.
Rails generate model user.
Yeah, Rails generate user. That's right.
Space.
Model and then
you want now you're calling it name right now. Do you want to call it name or say username?
We can give it username.
Username string, email string, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe last name string, first name string.
Yes.
Trying to think anything else we want. So we got username string, email string, last name, first name. Is there anything else you want to store as a user?
username, first name, last name, email.
Okay, and we're going to add the relationship with polls afterwards.
Okay.
Okay, you can't think of anything else? Rails write that. Rails generate model user. And then it would be username string. Yeah, it's no commas.
Username.
So yeah, name,
Username and
colon string.
okay.
I have put in the chat.
Yeah, and then email string.
Username string. Yeah, okay.
Email string. Yeah. Now, do you want them to be able to put a little bio in or anything like that?
This is for events that happen then and there. Oh, okay, but then the user would have.
No, I'm just saying, you're going to go to like a profile page. Do you want to let them put something in there about themselves?
What do you guys think?
I mean, that's optional. They don't have to, but it might be a nice little thing to add.
Yeah.
You could put bio : text. Yeah. And that just gives them the option. You have a little text area there, whatever they want to write,
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what kind of polls are you thinking of providing? Are these going to be any like political polls or polls about recipes, or does it matter?
These would be events and
event specific.
Event specific. Events like
basketball game or whatever.
Okay. Well, actually, you could have another thing there. You could have, let's see. Trying to think how you could express categories, like interest categories or something like that. So you have biotext. You could actually have interests, text, something like that too.
Hmm.
So, I mean, they might say sports or STEM or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hackathons, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, we could do that for now. We can always change it later, but I would rather have a little more in there that they can play around with than have it too sparse. You know, if you're going to go to a profile page, you might as well, you know, go big or go home, right? So try that. Now enter.
Hmm.
Okay. And now do the Rails generate for authorizations?
Okay, wait.
Yeah, where is that? Oh, I see it. Rails generate model authorization.
Model.
Authorization.
Provider.
And then provider string. Provider colon
String.
string, yeah.
Oh.
And then user colon belongs to space user colon belongs to
Belongs to.
underscore two.
Oh, yeah.
Underscore two, yeah. Belongs to. Yeah, and then generate that.
Oh.
Now when you're ready, oh, there's a conflict. Oh, yeah, because you have, didn't you change the name for that? No?
Hmm.
I thought,
Oh, oh man.
yeah, can you just quickly change the name?
Yeah.
What you can do is just say no and then run it again after you. Yeah. Right. Okay.
No.
So it's all right. Okay, well say, yeah, at this point it should be all right. Say yes. Yes. It'll create a new. That's fine. Okay, good. That worked. All right. So now go to authorizations.
In here, you're talking about here.
The new one. Yeah, I mean, you I don't know if
Yeah.
you've got stuff to transfer for there or not, but okay, good. It belongs to user and validates provider UID presence true, and those are the important ones. So, yeah, it carried that over. I'm kind of surprised. And was that all that was in authorization original? Was there anything else in there?
No.
That's it.
Authorization original.
I think.
No.
Yeah, you can ditch that. You can get rid of it now.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it would have created a new user. Can we look at the user?
Yeah. There's nothing in there.
Okay. Well, the user, you're going to, like, if you look at the old user, and copy has many and validates. Yeah, copy that. Right. And put that in your new user and then get rid of the old one. Yeah. Okay. You can get rid of that now. Now, when you create your migration for polls, Rails generate model poll, I guess. Yeah, Rails generate model poll. And you have all the attributes that you're sure you want to have with it. You're going to create it with a user belongs to field, just like authorizations, right? And just like authorizations, can I see authorizations? The new authorizations? Yeah, so it's going to say when you bring up the model, it'll say belongs to user and validates. It'll do that as you know, and have whatever other attributes that you need. So now, can I see your routes again? All right. So you've got resources, polls, user. I would bring out like get rid of polls for now because it doesn't really exist. All right. You can always put another line in resources polls when you have the migration done.
Okay.
Okay.
So in here, like we named this. Would it?
Yeah. So it's going to be the polls index page. So you're saying that when you first enter it, it's not any kind of vestibule page. It's the actual index page. Does it matter? I mean, are they going to be able to see things on it other than
No. It's
description and what?
It's basically just a like it just describes the app and there's like a sign in.
Okay, because that is not a polls index page.
Yeah.
It's not. What a polls index page is, it's the page that has the collection of polls on it.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So I mean, it is in fact almost, I would say, identical to our welcome login page.
Right.
Because the welcome login, the whole point of having it was to have some space to put a description of what the project does, and then have a sign in or sign up.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could just like copy and paste identically what you had there. I would not route it to polls index. That doesn't make any sense in terms of the way that you're using or viewing the project. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, copy over the routes that you have from the tutorial and use them. And then what we'll do next, and I'm running out of time. I'm actually late for another group.
Oh.
But what we can do after you have this stuff put in here is what we can do is change in the create. First of all, some of the things that we're getting from the user, we can edit that, and then we can go to from create. We can go to another form, a profile.
Yeah.
Okay. Instead of we're going to a dashboard, there's nothing that says we can't go to a profile.
Okay. Also, I have a question with this. So the view, it wouldn't come under polls, right? This would be like a
well, that's something for the future.
Okay.
You don't have that yet. All right.
But
an index of polls would be contain be able to show all the polls or filter the polls that are available or sort polls that are available.
So what we have in here is essentially not that. Like we have the homepage thing, the sign-in page. We have that under polls.
Yeah, it shouldn't be there. Yeah, I mean, now that I understand how you intended to use that, that's incorrect. Yeah, and again, you don't want that form there. You're going to create a form in profile.
So do I?
So I mean, create views and controllers as you did in the tutorial, because until you get to create, it's identical. And the big difference is after create, you're not going to go to a dashboard. You're going to go to a profile page. And then from there, you're going to go to the polls index. Does that make sense? You know, once they're registered and they and their profile is verified, then they go to the polls index page.
Yeah.
And if they're already registered, if they go to sign up, then sign up could take them directly to the polls index page, unless they want to edit their profile. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you work with that for now?
Sort of. Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, just basically make sure that you've got, all I want to see is login, or what is it? Register or sign in for, you know, whatever the name of your app is. So you should have at the top, you've got Poll Up Bing. Then you've got a little description. You might want to add more, is a web page that shows blah, 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 blah. And then all you need below that is register or sign up, you know, either just register or sign up, or register or sign up for Poll Up Bing. You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then that's a link to. That's a link to. Okay. And the link to is that's the get, what is it? GitHub auth, or I don't know, whatever that was in the original one. Let me see. I forget myself. I'm losing my mind. There's no doubt about it. Let's see. So the original one is oh, come on. Where am I going? Oh, here it is. I'm looking in the wrong place. Link to, oh yeah. So it's in quotes, it's /auth/GitHub. You're linked to register or log in. Oh, I had register or log in with GitHub. I guess you would want to say with GitHub. And then you have /auth GitHub, /GitHub. All right.
Yeah.
So make sure you have that working, and then we'll start digging into the polls. And you need to have like a brainstorming session, and all of you should say, what do I want to do with these polls? What do I want to show with these polls? What kind of categories of polls do we want to have for events? Okay.
Okay.
All right. I got to get going. I would stay longer. And, you know, hopefully we can maybe find a little time tomorrow to talk about this as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go for now.
Thank you, Professor.
So, yeah. So I'll talk to you later. Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, it gets very confusing, but I think once you have this in place, you'll be a little more solid. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
All right. Take care.
All right. Thanks, Professor.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. You take care. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
What all are we planning to, like in those poll up questions? What categories?
Actually, I was thinking of just yes or no questions.
I think that would be better. Yeah.
That is easier. That's why I was thinking.
Yes or
Yeah.
no? Okay, so what kind of questions can we like? Something related to the player or the team
Yeah,
or
something related to player we can put, or team, whatever. For example, like
And if it's
which
some other
which team
event,
is, yeah, do you think this team is going to win? Yes or no? Like according to the history of this team, will this
Mhm.
team be able to make 5 baskets, or
and if
a
we
Okay.
particular
discuss
player?
about sports, then we can discuss about the food at the event or something like
Food
that.
also, yeah, even
Are
the
we just
food.
sticking to sports or
No, there
No,
will
it
be
should
different
be
pools.
all, no? Any event.
Like in an event, like there will be food or there will be beverages. Even we can ask that, how was the burger today? Good.
Guys,
Uh,
yep.
yeah.
um, I have to go again,
Yeah,
guys.
it's okay. Even
Yeah,
we'll be like, we'll also finish it off in like 5-10 minutes, 5 minutes. Because voice,
Mm, Shit, yeah.
I didn't understand, dude, at the beginning. What is she talking? She's not at all helping.
I'm
I
like,
mean,
I'm just like keeping my thing like this. Okay, I'm like, what?
yeah.
I'm sitting like this. That's why
and,
I turned off
and
my
no, no. When
camera.
when
Okay.
I opened the environment, I don't know what exactly to do because you and Juhi worked on it, right?
Mm.
We were working on Omni also. I don't know where exactly are those files. That's why I said
was
you do it.
reading.
I was
I was
confused.
reading. I knew that's why you
Oh,
turned off your screen. You
ah,
know, I was like, Puneet,
I
where?
was I was searching. I was searching what to do. Then I
And
was like,
Puneet,
oh shit, I don't know anything.
it's like, I just turned it off now. I'm like, I'll kill you. Don't put me.
And
What I do?
oh,
Kill you.
But it didn't go that bad
It
as
wasn't that bad, really.
yeah.
Hmm.
Because that's
Because we
because we
kept
work now. Yeah.
no, because we kept
Everyone's condition is
complaining to her. We kept complaining to her. We didn't get it. We didn't do it. We are worried. Like we kept
yeah.
telling beforehand it, so she knew we didn't do anything.
Hmm.
Because that
See,
time
that's
only we were talking about routes, guys. So that's it. It's gone.
Hmm.
And I have to go.
Okay.
Okay,
No
chalo.
problem.
Okay. Bye
Bye.
bye. See
bye.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
So, like I was just like, what kind of questions and which all categories shall we?
see one would be regarding the food and stuff.
Okay, food. Okay, I wrote down player, about team, about food.
Like first thing, what kind of events? One I said is like the
Food.
game or yeah, food.
One is for sports, huh? Okay, then this will like food. I think it will be included in I think all the events.
Yeah, all the events.
Yeah, yeah. So if you take it as a specific event, then we can write out the category.
Yeah,
Hmm.
sports के लिए there's a player and team and
And about the place, also even about the place.
how was the event overall? Like, no, like
How was the event venue? Even
okay,
the
but
event venue, because every
then
time,
you can answer in yes or no. Okay,
yeah,
event venue. Okay,
yeah, so that we can change the venue next time if people doesn't like it or.
okay.
Mm,
Even the
Next,
management.
yeah. What else? What could be something very common to all the events?
mm.
I was thinking like other kind of events would be or can be like we can place career also like
Hmm.
sports
Some
and then career.
orientations,
Sorry.
some orientations, and some graduate orientation or something like that. You'll be having some polls.
We can have initially a category of academic and then non-academic.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, something like
Okay.
that.
Yes. Then under that we can place all these things like under academic.
Academic, we can say this one. Research exhibition or a science exhibition, something.
Okay, some paper presentation or
No, we can do the paper presentation too, but there are, we have a lab in EB. You saw that engineering building. So there are some real made models kept there.
okay.
I mean, so
Research. Okay. What else?
mm,
Can we
academic.
finalize two, three things, or maybe five, and then
Yeah, we'll just give random names. Then finally we'll finalize them.
yeah.
Whatever comes to mind. Codeathon, something like that. We have
Hackathon times. Yeah.
hackathon, something. Fine. What else?
There are some events related. Like events like what is it like? Friday late night Bing.
Hmm. You are the senior. You should know it better. We only had one semester experience. This whole semester is ruined.
I think we can place that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we
So
have five of
non-academic. You can put
late night.
movie night. Yeah.
Yeah, movies. Movie night. There are some like we can include all these movie night, all these events under this thing.
Non-academic.
For non-academic, we can say cultural events rather than non-academic.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are keeping sports, late night events, and movie night under this thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have research related to research, and then hackathon, and then career counseling or something like that. Under academic.
Yes.
So we have 6 of it. I think that's
3.
good. Yeah.
We can start building on these many. No? I think.
Yeah. And for questions, like answers would be yes or no, right? Professor was asking about two things, like there was poll up and voting. So it is for two things, right? One we are going to have those questions related to events, and another thing was we are going to post questions, and then people are going to upvote and downvote. Was it for that, or was both the things?
The voting options actually I had put for that only.
Okay, okay.
But
I'm not able to explain at that time. I was thinking, what was it for?
because I had not completed that. After that, she
Yeah,
changed the direction completely.
yeah.
And today again, she changed the direction completely.
Okay.
So I think we'll need to merge the OmniAuth part here first.
And in beginning, she was talking about that not more than 2 users, or maybe like 2 users cannot be in this environment at that time. Like we cannot access the. Was
I
she
don't
saying?
know what she was saying. Something I didn't understand that.
She
I
said
thought that is why I'm facing that problem. That is why I'm not able to access um, that page, polar pin. Maybe, I don't know. So now, like, next we have to do Omniauth, right?
Yes, you'll need to merge the Omniauth part for this.
So are we going to work on it now or tomorrow after class?
No, some of the time, dude. We are always.
Tomorrow.
And I have DP. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do it tomorrow after the class or something.
Yeah.
I'll just save the routes.rb.
Okay.
Then we'll do one thing, we'll do, but then tomorrow.
Yeah. Shall we do it tomorrow then after class? After.
Yeah, we'll do it tomorrow.
Okay. Then.
Okay.
Bye.
See you. Bye bye. See you
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.